The night was quiet in the small town, with only the wind whispering through the trees. John, a single father, was finishing his work in the study when he heard a soft, strange noise outside his door. At first he thought it was just an animal, but the sound was different, almost like a small cry. He stood up, heart beating fast, and walked slowly to the front porch. There, under the dim light of the lamp, he saw a small figure curled up on the doormat. The figure looked unusual. It had big, round eyes that reflected the light, and its skin shimmered slightly under the lamp. The baby was tiny and looked scared and hungry. John's first thought was fear. "Is it safe? Where did it come from?" he whispered to himself. But he could not ignore it. The baby shivered and made a small, pitiful sound, reaching out its tiny hands toward him. John felt a strange mix of fear and compassion. He carefully picked the baby up, noticing how cold and fragile it was. The baby looked at him with eyes full of hope and trust. He had no idea what species it was, or if it was dangerous, but he could feel its innocence. His mind raced. Should he call the authorities? But something inside told him that no one could help it like he could. He carried the baby inside and closed the door quietly. The house felt bigger than usual with this tiny creature in his arms. The baby made soft, whimpering sounds, and John wrapped it in a warm blanket. He offered it some milk, but the baby seemed unsure. Its small hands touched his face, and John realized it needed not only food but care and love. Suddenly, the baby made a sound that was strange yet sweet, almost like a tiny song. John froze. It was not like anything he had ever heard. The room felt alive, as if the baby's presence was changing the air around him. A soft glow began to emanate from the baby's body, and John stepped back slightly, unsure what was happening. Outside, a shadow moved in the darkness. John's heart skipped a beat. He peered through the window but saw nothing clearly. The wind picked up, carrying an eerie whisper through the trees. He wondered if the baby's parents were coming, or if something else was watching them. The house suddenly felt small and vulnerable. John sat down carefully with the baby on his lap. He whispered, "Don't worry, you're safe here." The baby's eyes looked at him like it understood. Even though John had never seen anything like this before, he felt a connection, a silent trust between them. The fear he felt began to soften into determination. He would protect this little creature no matter what. As he sat there listening to the baby's quiet breathing, the sky outside lit up with a strange, soft glow. It moved slowly, hovering over the trees, then vanished. John's mind spun. What had just passed above them? Was it a sign from the baby's world? Or was it a warning of danger yet to come? He knew one thing for sure. Tonight was only the beginning. The mysterious arrival at his doorstep had changed everything. John felt a mix of fear, excitement, and responsibility. He looked at the baby, who gazed back with wide, innocent eyes, and whispered, "We'll face this together." Outside, the night seemed to hold its breath as if waiting for the next chapter of their story to unfold. John did not know where the baby had come from or what the future held. But in that quiet house, a new bond was forming. A human and an alien child, strangers from different worlds, now shared a connection that could change both of their lives forever. And as the night deepened, the first seeds of an extraordinary adventure were quietly being sown. The next morning, John woke up to find the baby still asleep in the blanket he had wrapped around it. Its small chest rose and fell softly, and the faint glow from last night had disappeared. John was both amazed and worried. He had never seen anything like this before. What if the baby was dangerous? What if someone came looking for it? Yet, when he looked at its tiny face, he felt a strong urge to protect it. He quietly made breakfast and sat beside the baby. It stirred and opened its big, curious eyes, looking around the room. John smiled nervously. "You must be hungry," he said softly. The baby made a small cooing sound and reached toward the plate. John laughed quietly, realizing how human-like its behavior seemed in some ways. But its shimmering skin and glowing eyes reminded him how different it really was. As John fed the baby, he thought about his neighbors. What would they say if they saw this? Surely they would call authorities. Could he hide it safely? And what about the baby's parents? Were they watching? Questions filled his mind, but one feeling stood above all. He could not leave the baby alone. Something inside him told him that this creature needed him, and he would not turn away. Hours passed, and John tried to make the baby comfortable. He prepared a small bed near the fireplace using soft blankets and pillows. The baby curled up and seemed to relax. It reached out and touched John's hand, gripping it tightly. The warmth of its tiny touch filled him with a strange sense of responsibility. John whispered, "I'll keep you safe, no matter what happens." Suddenly a soft sound came from outside. John froze. It was not the wind or the usual morning noises. It was almost like a whisper, gentle but urgent. He walked to the window and peered out. Across the street, shadows moved quickly between the trees. He could not see clearly, but he felt eyes on him. Were the baby's parents nearby? Or was something else watching? His heart began to race. John decided he had no choice. He had to protect the baby at all costs. He closed the curtains, locked the doors, and made sure everything was secure. The baby looked at him with wide eyes, sensing the tension. John's mind was full of plans: how to hide it, how to feed it, how to keep it safe. But deep down, he knew that no plan could prepare him for what was coming. That evening, as he sat with the baby on his lap, John heard a strange humming sound outside. It was soft at first, but grew louder, like a distant engine moving through the sky. The baby stiffened, its glowing eyes flickering once. John's fear spiked. Something was coming. Something not from this world. He hugged the baby closer, whispering, "Stay calm. I won't let anyone hurt you." The hum grew louder, then stopped suddenly. Silence fell over the town, but the feeling of being watched remained. John peeked through the blinds. A shadow passed quickly across the yard, and then it was gone. The baby made a small, urgent sound, almost like a warning. John realized they were not alone. Someone or something was outside, waiting, watching their every move. He looked down at the baby again. Despite the danger, it clung to him without fear. John felt a wave of courage. He had made his choice. No matter what came, he would protect this alien child. He whispered softly, "We face it together. Nothing will separate us." Outside, the night seemed calm, but the glowing stars felt sharper, almost alive, as if hinting at a story far bigger than John could imagine. John did not know what the shadow outside was or what it wanted, but one thing was certain. From this moment on, his life had changed forever. The baby's trust had sealed a bond, and that bond would face challenges unlike anything he had ever known. The adventure had begun, and the choices he made in the next hours could decide both their fates. The next morning, John woke to find the baby awake and staring at him with wide, shining eyes. Something had changed overnight. Its tiny hands moved in ways that seemed deliberate, almost intelligent. John watched closely as the baby made soft noises, which sounded like a strange rhythm or pattern. He felt a shiver run down his spine. There was something more about this little creature than he had realized. As John prepared breakfast, the baby crawled toward a small lamp on the table. He gasped when the lamp flickered and glowed brighter as the baby approached. The light pulsed in response to the baby's movements. John's mind raced. Was this a special power? Could it control energy? He realized that the baby was not just helpless. It had abilities he could not explain. John carefully picked up the baby and held it close. Its eyes glowed softly, almost like it was communicating without words. He whispered, "I won't let anyone hurt you. You're safe here." The baby reached out and touched his face, and John felt a strange warmth as if the baby's small power was connecting to him. He understood then that the bond between them was more than emotional. It was real and deep. Suddenly, a sound came from the yard, a rustle in the trees. John froze. The baby stiffened and made a low, almost warning noise. He peeked through the curtains and saw faint, glowing footprints leading away from the house. Someone or something had been there, leaving signs behind. John's heart pounded. He had to protect the baby, but he didn't know who or what was out there. John spent the day trying to understand the baby. He noticed that it responded to light, heat, and even sounds differently than a human child. When he hummed a tune, the baby's small, glowing fingers moved in rhythm with the sound. He realized that it was trying to communicate, perhaps even teach him something. He felt amazed and nervous at the same time. Could the baby's people find them if it sent a signal? Evening came and the town grew quiet. John sat with the baby on his lap near the fireplace, watching it closely. The baby suddenly emitted a soft glow and pointed toward the window. John looked and saw the night sky filled with strange flickering lights, like tiny stars moving unnaturally. His mind raced. Were these its parents? Or was it calling for help? He hugged the baby closer, whispering, "We'll face this together, no matter what comes." Just then, a loud crash echoed from outside. John jumped, holding the baby tightly. A small tree branch had fallen, but the shadow of movement beyond the yard made him tense. He realized that whatever was out there was testing them, watching carefully. The baby's glowing eyes seemed to react as if it could sense danger before he could. John understood that this small creature was more aware than any human could imagine. John knew he had to keep the baby hidden. He blocked the windows and stayed alert, but the baby calmed quickly when he held it. It trusted him completely. John whispered softly, "You are not alone. I will protect you, and I won't let anyone take you away." The baby cooed and snuggled into his chest, and John felt a strange courage filling him. They were a team now, and together, they could face anything. As night fell, John looked out at the sky again. The lights had gone, but the feeling of being watched remained. He realized that their story was far from over. The baby's powers, its mysterious origin, and the unknown beings in the darkness were all part of a challenge he had never imagined. One thing was certain: the bond between human and alien was growing, and it would be the key to surviving what came next. John sighed, holding the baby close. The glowing eyes looked back at him, full of trust and hope. He whispered, "Tomorrow, we will face the truth, and we will face it together." Outside, the night waited silently, hiding secrets that would soon change their lives forever. The next night, John could feel tension in the air. The baby slept quietly in his arms, but the soft glow in its eyes hinted that it sensed something coming. John had made the house secure, but he knew that whoever, or whatever, was watching would not give up easily. Outside, the wind rustled the trees, carrying sounds that made John's heart race. He clutched the baby tightly, whispering, "We'll be ready. Nothing will harm you." Suddenly, a low hum filled the air. It grew louder, vibrating through the ground and walls of the house. John peeked through the curtains and saw a large, sleek craft hovering above the yard. Its lights shimmered like liquid silver. He froze. Could this be the baby's parents? Or enemies sent to take it away? The baby stirred and made a small sound, almost warning him. John moved carefully to the baby's bed. The glowing eyes of the tiny creature seemed to react to the lights outside. Its small hands reached toward the ceiling, and a faint pulse of light spread from its body. John realized that the baby could protect itself, and him if needed. But he also knew that they could not fight a whole ship. The choice was clear. They had to hide, stay smart, and survive. The humming stopped suddenly, replaced by silence. John could hear the soft footsteps outside, too precise to be animals. Shadows moved among the trees, and glowing eyes watched from the darkness. His heart pounded. Whoever or whatever it was, they were not friendly. He whispered, "Stay close, we have to be ready for anything." The baby snuggled closer, as if understanding every word. John decided to take the baby to the basement. It was the safest place, away from windows and doors. He moved quietly, holding the glowing creature, feeling its warmth and trust. The baby made soft, cooing sounds, and the glow dimmed slightly, like it was calming down. John realized the baby could feel fear too, and his own courage made it feel safe. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. John's heart leaped into his throat. He froze, listening. The sound was not normal. There was a rhythm to it, almost like a signal. He peeked through the peephole but saw only darkness. Then a metallic voice whispered from outside, strange and distorted, "Return the child." John's pulse raced. These beings had technology far beyond his understanding. He moved quickly to secure the basement door. The baby's small glow lit the room, and John realized that they were a team. He whispered, "We're together. They cannot separate us." Outside, the shadows seemed to hesitate, as if sensing the bond between the human and the alien child. The house trembled slightly from the hum of the craft above, but John's determination held firm. Hours passed. The hum eventually faded, leaving only silence. John peeked through a crack in the basement door. The craft was gone, but he knew it would return. The shadows had disappeared, but the feeling of being watched remained. The baby stirred and looked up at him, its eyes glowing softly in the dim light. John felt a surge of hope. They had survived the first encounter, and together, they could face what was coming next. He sat with the baby in his arms, whispering stories to keep both of them calm. Outside, the night waited, full of unknown dangers and secrets. John knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, but he also knew that his courage, intelligence, and care for the baby made him stronger than the enemies outside. John hugged the baby close and whispered, "No matter what they send, we will face it together, I promise." The tiny glow of the alien child flickered softly, as if agreeing. The night had been filled with fear, but a bond stronger than any danger had formed. Together they were ready for the final trials ahead, a human and an alien, united against the unknown. The sun rose slowly, casting soft light across the quiet town. John sat in the living room, holding the alien baby close. The events of the night had left him exhausted but determined. He knew that whatever came next, he could not let the baby fall into the wrong hands. The tiny creature looked up at him, eyes glowing faintly, as if it trusted him completely. John whispered, "We will face this together." Suddenly a bright light filled the sky. A sleek alien ship descended gently into the yard. John's heart pounded. From the ship came two figures, the baby's parents. Their faces were unlike any humans, soft and glowing, but their eyes carried worry and fear. John held the baby closer. He did not know if they would be angry at him for taking care of their child, or if they would thank him. The alien parents approached cautiously. The baby cried softly, reaching toward John. He felt a tug at his heart. "It's okay," he whispered. "I won't hurt you." One of the parents touched the baby gently, and the glow from the tiny creature brightened, showing recognition and relief. John realized the bond he had formed with the child was visible to them too. Compassion and courage had crossed worlds. The alien parents spoke in a soft, melodic voice, strange but understandable. "You have protected our child. You are brave, and your heart is pure. We thank you." John nodded, feeling both proud and sad. He knew this moment would mean letting the baby go. He had grown attached, but he understood that its family needed it back. Still, he felt a sense of accomplishment. He had proven that humans could care, protect, and love, even across worlds. Before leaving, the baby reached for John's hand. Its glow pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. John held its tiny fingers, whispering, "I will never forget you. Stay safe." The parents nodded, understanding that this bond would last, even if worlds separated them. Slowly, the baby was lifted into the ship, resting safely in the arms of its mother. John watched as the ship rose, fading into the sky, leaving a trail of shimmering light behind. As the ship disappeared, John felt a strange emptiness, but also hope. He had faced fear, danger, and the unknown. He had protected an innocent life when no one else could. The night had been filled with shadows, hums, and strange lights, but it ended with gratitude and connection. John understood that humanity's kindness and courage could shine even in the darkest moments of the universe. Days passed and John returned to his daily life. The town seemed normal again, but he knew that life had changed forever. He often looked at the night sky, remembering the glowing eyes, the soft touch, and the trust of the little alien child. The memory reminded him of the power of compassion, bravery, and hope. He knew that one act of courage could echo across worlds. Then, One quiet evening, a soft glow appeared in the sky. It was far away but unmistakable. The baby, now safely with its parents, had not forgotten him. John smiled, feeling a connection that distance could not break. His heart swelled with pride and happiness. He whispered to the night, "We did it. Together." John realized that being human meant more than just surviving. It meant caring, protecting, and making choices that define who you are. He had faced an extraordinary challenge and proven that even one person could make a difference. Humanity's strength, empathy, and courage had shone brightly that night, and John knew that the universe had taken notice. The story ended with John standing on his porch looking up at the stars. A small twinkle in the sky reminded him of the baby's glow. He knew that their paths had crossed for a reason. The adventure had changed them both, leaving a bond that would never fade. Humanity had faced the unknown, and through love and bravery they had triumphed. The night was calm, but the universe had many more stories to tell, and John was ready for them.